Welcome back to the Burrow. My name is Seren, and welcome to Planet Zoo. With Planet Zoo dropping on the 13th of October, as you can see right there, I feel like it was due time for me to play this on the channel. I have not played a lot of it. I played a lot of like just sandbox mode on my time, but not really a lot of career. And that's what we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing career mode. I think I've done one mission. I have done literally one mission of the tutorial in my own time. So we're gonna do the career. Start with the Goodwin House at Stately Homeschooling. Renovated and renamed after its purchase by Bernard Goodwin in the 1980s, Goodwin House has since become one of the most respected zoos in the country. More recently, it has undergone a further renovation to update many of the habitats and facilities, but due to various issues, the work hasn't quite been completed, which is where you come in. We're going to play on medium. And I think even that, it's been months since I even played that one level, so I probably am unfamiliar with this entirely. So that's how it works. I played the tutorial enough to get in the sandbox, and then that's where I went. But I want to play through the career for you here on the channel. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn notifications, join the Burrow by hitting that subscribe button. We're close to 800 subs. And with that being said, let us go ahead and dive into some Planet Zoo. Whenever it does load in, I'll give it a moment and come back when it's loaded.
Heyo at Hematu. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals. We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Alright, so we got to locate the grizzly bear habitat, which is right there. It's literally highlighted.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too.
Now we need to enter the animal camera.
Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel. See, now,
Watch the bear
this
swimming.
is a fantastic way to
That
get
is-
a close
that's
look
awesome.
at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by
Oh,
simply
bear butt.
double-clicking on it.
Oh no, I saw bear bite.
Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over
I'm
to the
sorry
other
for
side of
that.
the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
I'm sorry you had to see that. You had to see grizzly bear, but well, that's wonderful. All right, so where are we going next? I got distracted. The West African lion habitat. Over here to the other side of the zoo. Okay.
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
We got to see a baby lion taking a dump. This is already off to a wonderful start. You've seen bear butt and lion dung. Now let's locate the empty habitats. Maybe we don't have to see any of that for a while.
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
Salmon
There
and
we are,
Kitswana.
a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
Open
When
animal
you adopt
storage.
an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
All right, we have our
When you ask
We
for
have
an
our
animal to be
warthogs
moved into
getting
a
added.
habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
there it is right there.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy.
If
You
there's
see,
a disease
each
spread,
animal
it's your
in the
fault,
zoo has
Nancy.
an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information.
Zoopedia is up here in the top left.
Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station. And for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
Where do we want to put this? I can be kind of frugal where I put things because it's tutorial. We're going to put it under here. It won't let me put it under here. Okay. Water bowl can go right there.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
It's like you roll your R's every chance you get.
Oh, nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a pharaoh's state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
So we need to locate the highlighted area, which is the common ostrich habitat. I just like looking around the zoo. This is a nice zoo. Never been able to build anything this nice.
Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner. Ah, that's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
I'm trying. Outside placement area. Oh, it wants it specifically here. Okay. Well, we'll put it there then.
Right. Let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
We're gonna be a bit creative with how I do this.
Good
Yeah, okay.
work. Remember,
There we go.
before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier, so the guests can see in. There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just
I was gonna add another one here, but don't let me.
Places like near a viewing point.
Oh well.
Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
Give us your money. Give us your money. Please.
Now, before we adopt our ostriches, you should click the play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh?
Adopt and place 4 common ostriches.
Pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
We're gonna get them all in this habitat together. Just having 4 ostriches in here won't be bad, right? It won't be bad.
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
I'd like to round that. I wish I had rounded that wall more, because it looks kind of dumb, but we're in the tutorial. I'm not going to worry too much about it, but I would do that again if I had the opportunity to. There's that. There's that. And let's see, can I? Yeah, there we go. Oh dear, I rotated that way too much. There we go. There we go, bronze star.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Well, there's that one.
Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did you do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
Well, this isn't a bad spot, according to these guests. Well, we're going to wrap up today's episode here. It's a little shorter than I'd like it to be, but I'm going to do silver and gold in the next episode for this first mission. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like on it, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you next time as we continue our campaign in Planet Zoo.